Hello, welcome back. Welcome to my kitchen. Come in, sit down, and let me cook for you. I'm Tom, the Sunday Dinner Chef. Let's get started. Well, welcome to my first podcast. This is going to be a series of 3 of my earlier videos from the Sunday Dinner Chef. Sit back, relax. These are long playing. Happy Sunday. Today, the Sunday Dinner Chef will be making a margarita-style pizza. This goes back hundreds of years from Naples, Italy. So come on in, sit down, take a load off. Almost time to eat. Simple ingredients: all-purpose flour, active dry yeast, mozzarella cheese, some tomatoes with garlic and basil. That's it. A little fresh basil, Mexican oregano, and olive oil. Let's put this together. Okay, first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking this tomato sauce. Okay, now this is just crushed tomatoes that was cooked in a little pot with some basil and fresh garlic. And I'm just going to pour it in to this pot. I'm going to put it on the stove just to heat it up because it was already cooked. Now, future videos I'll show you how to just make this. It's a simple sauce and it's great for pizza or making linguine, any kind of type of pasta. So let me put that on the stove. On to low. Okay, we're going to get this water. I like to get it around anywhere between 90 and 110 is good, 102. Right here we have 99 degrees, 100 degrees. 102, still going up. Okay, that's good. 105 is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the yeast, okay? The active dry yeast. This will help it. Let's get that out of the way. Now I'm just going to stir this up a little bit. Now this is 1 cup of water, and what I'm doing is I'm making this dough. It's going to be on the sticky side. That will almost guarantee that it's going to be a little bit more crunchy. It'll have that nice crisp taste to it. All right, I'm going to put this off to the side. Now, in my food processor, I'm going to do this in the food processor because you know what? The dough really comes out really good. I'm going to be putting in 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, you can also use 00, which I normally do, but I didn't find it in the store. And the ones that I did find, the price was outrageous for it. So this is just as good. Now, being that this is going to knead this up really quick, all right, I'm just going to put that off to the side. This is going to come up very quick, and what a difference it makes. Okay, yeast is ready. I'm going to pour it in. Make sure we get all that out. Get over here. Now, I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to pulse this a little bit just to get it started. Now the great debate is whether to add salt or not to it, okay? I see no reason why you can't. Will it kill? Yeah, a large amount of yeast will kill, salt I mean, will kill the yeast, but we're not going to do that. So I'm just going to add a half a teaspoon to it. Drop that in, and here we go. Now, as we're mixing this dough, I'm going to have to add a little bit of olive oil to it and help loosen it up just a little bit. Sprinkle a little flour on the board. Take our dough, throw our dough down here. Now, I'm gonna knead this. And we live out in the desert, so the humidity inside the house is next to nothing. So, this dough is probably gonna be very tight for me. But we're gonna let it proof out. I just wanna knead it in here a little bit more until it relaxes. Take your fingers, pull it in, heel your palm, push it out. Fold it over, roll it out. And roll it out. Now it's starting to take shape a little bit, but in the same token, it's still very, very tight. Just put a little bit more flour on it. Now you gotta be careful putting too much flour on it because it will absorb into it and make the dough even tighter. So we're just gonna keep rolling this, one hand after the other. The whole idea here is we're trying to get the glutens to relax. It's a workout. And do this for about 8 to 10 minutes, depending on how tight it is. Now I wanted this to be a little bit looser, and I did put a cup of water in it. Maybe I should have put a little bit more water in it. I don't know, but we will see. Now you can do this the day ahead of time, okay, and really let it set pretty good. But we're gonna cut these, let them rise a little bit, cut them down, and I'm hungry. I want some Neapolitan margarita. Let that sit a minute and we'll come back. Okay, pat it down. I'm sorry about the white on white here, but there it is. I'm going to separate this now, roll them up to a little bowl, and then what I'll do is we're going to let these proof. Okay, put it on two separate little bowls. I put a little bit of olive oil on top. Because of the dryness here, humidity is almost like 0, so it's dry as hell. So these are going to sit now. I'm going to put the cover on them. I'm going to rest them for about 2 hours. Okay, for proofing, probably about 2 hours, give or take. There it is, right there. Okay, so I'm going to take one out, and we're going to work this down. I'm going to make a loaf of bread out of, a little Italian bread, and the other one's going to turn into the pizza. Okay, we'll work this dough down a little bit. Yeah, it's still a little tight, but it'll work. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this into itself. Roll it out a little bit. Get the ends nice and tight. Okay, I'm going to put this on a little pan here. And we're going to let this proof up. I'm going to take a little scissor and I'm going to just make some cuts in it. And brush it with a little bit of olive oil. Put a little olive oil in the pan here, get the brush. Now you can actually egg wash this. I'm just going to put a little olive oil onto it, brush it on. Let that sit for a little bit. Alright, this is going to go off to the side here. Next up, put a little bit of flour on the pan. And what I'm going to do is make this into a nice little circle. And you can cut this out just about any way you want. You have a bottom and you also have a top. So I will be working this, stretching it. A little bit more flour on it. I thought this was going to be kind of tight, but it isn't. It seems to be working pretty good. Now, being that I can't get my oven up to pizzeria heat, okay, which would be anything over 600 or 700 degrees, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-cook this a little bit just to get it started. Worst thing in the world is to have your toppings burnt on top and your dough not cooked. So a little bit more flour on here. Okay, stretching it just a little bit. It's almost transparent. You don't want to rip it or tear it. Okay, and put it out into the pan here. And this is pretty well relaxed. As you can see, it's starting to bubble a little bit. Some people don't care for that. I do. And just push it up here onto the crust. Okay. Okay, there we have it. Now, I am going to move this stuff out of the way here. Okay, now I got the sauce here. Like I said, I'm going to pre-cook this a little bit, but it doesn't hurt to put a little bit of sauce on it. Okay, so I'm just going to spread some sauce out on this. Now, to each his own. If you like a lot of sauce, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Now, the origination of pizza was just tomatoes and dough. There was really no cheese on it, no extra toppings. So that's what they called it years ago. You used to call it a tomato pie. We're going to get a tomato pie, and that's basically what it was. So there again, I'm just going to put a little bit on here. All right. And that's going to go in the oven. Alright. And it looks like it heated up pretty good. Get my trusty gloves on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Okay, could go a little bit more. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more sauce to it. And there again, some people, me particularly, I don't care for a lot of sauce. But hey, when it's good, it's good. Look at that. You can see the basil, the fresh garlic that was made in here. Actually, my wife Marie made this sauce. And she does a good job at it. So, let's put a little bit more over here. Okay. Get that back in there. Now, I have the sliced mozzarella. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to layer this on here. This was sliced with a potato peeler. which works out fine. There's no rhyme or reason to it. And put as much cheese on as you want. Usually a margarita is just made with fresh mozzarella, but just a little bit of Parmesan. And this stuff right here, Mexican oregano. I tell you, I fell in love with this stuff. Always use regular European, but now take it in your hand, crush it up because it is part of the leaf that's rough. It's a rough cut. Just put this on a little bit. Wow, the aromas are like, wow. Put that over here. And then we got, from our little basil plant outside, we got a little bit of basil. So I'm just going to lay a couple of them on here. Need the stems on. It's fine. Just a little bit. It's going to be okay. I mean, just the aromas just woke up the room. I mean, very good. Put one more over here. And one more back there. Okay, there is nothing more fitting or more that I like is a nice small glass of Chianti. Nice fresh pizza, freshly made pizza. A nice glass of Chianti. One for me and one for the bride. Voila! Just put a little bit of olive oil on it. It gives it that little extra oomph on it. Okay, just gonna let that sit a minute. A little Tommy spice. We both like it, so I'm not worried. All right, I'm gonna take this and we're gonna cut this. Spin it around. Come back here, you. Well, it's been a while since I did this. Okay, here we have it. One delicious margarita. Mmm. Let me get this a try here. Wow. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to the Sunday Dinner Chef. I like this logo. This goes out to Yes I Can Barbecue. Simon, thank you so much for the new design. Appreciate it. This one's for you, buddy. Welcome back to the Sunday Dinner Chef. Well, today we're going to be making some wonton soup. I have some Oriental style noodles I'm going to be using. Also, I have some garlic here that I bought already cleaned up. That was a good price. Okay, we go to the Philippine market and get that. I have roasted peppers here that I'm going to roast, I should say. Also some shiitake mushrooms that we got. And here's the sale of the day. I have some nice pork belly, okay, that I'm going to be making alongside of my wonton soup. Okay, I'm going to add a little olive oil into my little pan here for my peppers that I'm going to roast. Just look at these. I mean, these are gorgeous. Look how big they are. Okay, they're barely going to fit into the pan, I think. Okay. There's 4 of them. Ah, you know what? We're going to have trouble here. Ha! They'll fit. Made them fit. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on the peppers themselves. I'm going to add a little garlic to it. Like I said, I got these already peeled fresh garlic. Real good price. I'm going to cut them up. I have the oven at 400 degrees, not 450, 400 degrees. And we're going to roast these off. Now this is for a future use that we're going to be making with the roasted red peppers. I like to make sauce out of this. Okay, it's my new go-to. Sometimes you get really bored with making, tomato sauce, whatever. I even have one coming up to show everybody of me making eggplant sauce with eggplant. I just did a video with that. Okay, so I'm going to be placing some of these garlics in here. Let them go with that, and put a little bit more Tommy spice on them. Now these are going to blister. I want to cook them fully, and the skin will come out. All the seeds will come out of it, and they're delicious. Absolutely delicious. I'm going to be preparing everything that we're going to be using. We're just going to cut these green onions up, kind of small, to go into our soup. Just some days you just feel like having different types of soups, and I mean, I really like Oriental style soups, whether it be egg drop or wonton. Now, I'm not making any wontons. I'm just going to be using these Oriental noodles that I have here. And I'm going to make some pork. I'm going to do this pork belly up in it. A little chicken stock. Okay. And yeah, we're going to put this together, and it's going to be a nice afternoon. Chop up some garlic. These are much nicer than the ones that I've been buying, I tell you. Really very disappointed in some of the produce I've been getting lately. And that's why you have to go to these specialty stores. Or just our general Kroger, whoever, the produce is just horrible. Now this stuff is coming from Seafood City, and I mean, it's really... What a difference. Okay, now into the mix I have some shiitake mushrooms. Now for this one pack here, I mean, it's 1 ounce, but they're freeze dried, okay, or they're actually dried. Look at these, you can't go wrong. $1.99, can't go wrong with them. So I'm going to put them in some water. Now we're going to let them hydrate. Even though they're going to go in the soup, I want to hydrate them first. I'm going to cut them up a little smaller. And this is all you have to do. I mean, at least about 20 minutes to get the woodiness out of them. And I tell you what, these are packed with flavor. Unbelievable. Okay, I got some nice pork belly here. I mean, this is really, really nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these in half, and I'm going to take this skin off it here, because this will cook up. Sometimes you can break your teeth with it. Very, very hard. So I'm just going to cut these up first, and then I'm going to take off the skin to that effect. And I'm going to cook these whole, and then what I'll do is I will be adding that in to the soup. Okay, so I'm just stacking these up here, like I said, taking that heavy skin off. I mean, it's even hard sometimes to get through the knife through there. So, this one still on. Now, normally when they make this type of soup, they're going to be doing it with chicken broth. And like I said, I don't have wonton noodles per se, but these Oriental style noodles will work just fine. Just gives you that sense of a different type of, a different taste. Like I said, it's tough. All right. Alrighty, into the pan, I'm going to be adding in these strips of pork belly. Now this is uncured bacon, okay, but I'm gonna render that fat out of it a little bit. Keep them pieces of beautiful looking pork right there. I'll tell you what, these are really nice. I'm just going to put them in here. Now I certainly don't want these to burn, and the whole idea with them is right now is to just render down the fat, get a little color to them, okay, and then they're going to go back into the other pot with and I'm going to make the soup in. Now I'm going to let them cook out. I'm going to lower the heat, medium low, and just let them cook out. Okay, now into this pot, add a little bit of olive oil in, and I'm going to add in the garlic. I'm just going to let that go a little bit. Put this over here. Now, not to burn it, just want it to bloom. Basically what I want. As you can see, pork belly is cooking up very nice. Now, before this goes to burning, I have chicken stock. Okay, this is going to be the base. And it's going to be the base for our soup. Stir that around a little bit here. Okay, now we got the mushrooms that are hydrated. I cut them up a little bit here with a scissor, just like this here. Okay, some of them are kind of big. I mean, you can leave them alone. This is your preference, however you want to do it. Okay, so I'm just going to sprinkle them in. A little bit bigger ones on the bottom. Okay. Stir these around. A couple of big ones here. Now, realistically, this is very simple to do. Okay. So, while that's basically heating up, I'm going to be adding in a little bit more chicken stock. Okay. Now people saying, "Oh, that's just chicken soup you're making." Well, basically, but I'm going to be adding some other stuff to it. So, little trick here: put a hole in the box, and it pours out. All right. Now I'm going to let this. I'm going to stir this up a little bit and put a lid on it, and bring this up to a small boil, roll, and then we're going to lower it down. Okay, this pork belly is crisping up really nice. I'm going to let this go nice and slow. The last two pieces went in. Okay, all right. Just gonna let this go now. Got the cover on the soup itself. I'm gonna just let that go. Okay, this is rendering out really nice. I mean, it's crisping up. Now, method to my madness. All right, this fat that's in there. Okay, I'm gonna make that. I'll render that down a little bit more, and I'll keep this as pork tallow, pork fat. a lot of different recipes coming down the pike that I'll be using this in. Okay, and I'll show you exactly what it is. Put it in a jar, put it in the refrigerator once it cools. Okay, this comes in handy with a lot of different recipes. Okay, and also you can use this for making some biscuits or whatever. Nice pork lard. Okay, this pork belly is just getting finished up. Okay, and also the soup right now is pretty much cooking away. Now what I did was I took the noodles, made just a handful from the package because these are actually gonna grow on me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just pour these in right now. Put these down on here like that. And we're gonna let these go. Lower the flame down a little bit just to a nice little simmer. Put the cover back on. And there we have it. Okay, that went a couple minutes, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add in some soy sauce. And then just before we get ready to serve, I'm gonna put a little bit of hoisin sauce into the soup. So I'm just gonna add probably a little more than a tablespoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half of soy to it, just to bring up that flavor. I'm gonna give it a nice whirl around, get everything pretty well mixed in. And I'm also going to be putting in some green onion, just a handful. Rest we'll use for garnish. Just put that in there. And this thing is basically done. Okay, soup's coming along really nice. I'm going to add in the pork belly. I add a little hoisin to it. Good taste. Add a little bit more hoisin to the soup. Give this bad boy a stir. Let this go a couple more minutes, and we're ready to eat. Okay, all poured up. Little green onions in here for a little garnish. Now this thing is screaming hot. Okay, I'll try a nice little extra crispy pork belly here. What I'm gonna do. I decided not to cut it up smaller. I just wanted the whole thing. Look at that. Oh man. Give it a try. Oh man. This is so good. Try a little bit of the soup. I will leave you this easy recipe down below. This is so good on a cold day. Wow. Very simple. Simple ingredients. I'm telling you what, delicious. Very good. Up next, chicken franchise. Everybody, happy Sunday. Today on the Sunday Dinner Chef, we are going to be making some bread to start off with. And also today's dinner is going to be chicken franchise with some spaghetti. All right, let's get started. Now, to the water here, it is 98 degrees. I'm going to be adding in to 1 cup of water, actually 2 teaspoons full of yeast. Put that in. I'm going to put that off to the side for a little bit. And being where I live out in Las Vegas here, it is very dry. So to proof this bread up a little bit here, I'm going to add, which I normally don't do, but I'm going to add in a little bit of sugar. Probably about, well, look at it work. I'll probably put a teaspoon in there because I want this to really work. Put that sugar off to the side. And then I will stir it up. Let that sit. Okay, let it all come together. Start seeing a little bit of bubbles right there. That means the yeast is good. Put that off to the side. Now, I am going to use my food processor here, and I'm going to be using 00 flour, and I'm going to use 3 cups. Okay, so I'm going to pack it in pretty good. Now you can, if you have a scale, you can scale it out. I don't have a scale, so I'm just going to leave it with the cups. 3 cups, 00 flour. Now, when I make pizza dough, I like to use, the first video I did here was pizza dough, but I used all-purpose flour because I didn't have any 00 flour. So I got it. I sent away for it. I got it, and you can get that in Whole Foods. Great price. Okay, now inside the flour here, you're going to see a little. I put bay leaves in there. If you ever get bugs or whatever, bay leaf will keep them out. Good practice. And put that off to the side. Now, let me see here. I have salt. So now my salt, I'm going to put a excuse me, teaspoon of salt in to the flour itself. Mix that around here like that. Excuse me, that helps with the flavor of the bread and also with the pizza dough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 loaves, and one for pizza and one for just a loaf of Italian bread. Now I'm going to put this on. Alright, so now when you see this foam on top, you know that yeast is really working. Got the foam on top, looks like a head of beer. I'm just going to wait a couple more minutes and let that roll. Okay, after a few, like 30 minutes, I'm going to add in that beautiful yeast. I'm going to add a little bit more water to it just to get it all in there. add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil and continue. There it is. Push some of the stuff off to the side here. Put my processor in the sink. Cap. Okay, a little flour to the surface here. This dough, lay it on here. Very sticky, that's why I want it. Make it nice and crunchy. This off to the side. Get the rest of it out. Okay, now I'm just gonna knead this real quick, easy. It feels very soft. Yeah, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. Now I'm just gonna, like I said before, with your fingers, pull it in, roll it out with your palm. So now, when it's not sticky anymore, okay, you can take it. Don't let it tear. Put it up in the bowl. Let it sit, let it rest a little bit. Flour on top. Now get your bowl. A little flour. In that bowl right there, punch it down a little bit. And then you want to cover it. Cover is in Los Angeles. Cover on it. A couple things I want to go over real quick is I'm going to make a beurre Meunier, which is just uncooked flour with butter mixed together. So I put it into a little bowl, okay, and then I'm going to get out approximately. Now this is whipped unsalted butter. And put it in there. If you can add a little bit more if you want. This is easier than making a roux. Get that out of the way here. And I'll take the spoon here, because I don't have a fork, and try to push this down. I'm gonna let it sit a little bit, room temperature, but we'll work on this as we go along. Well, now I try to keep calm about things, but I gotta tell you, it really makes me mad. I think it was almost 89 or 99 cents a pound for garlic, okay? And it's old. This stuff is starting to sprout again, okay? Which means it's very bitter. Actually burns you if you bite into it. I mean, just look at this. I don't know how they're getting away with it, but anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up some garlic for this dish, nice and fine. I mean, look, this is sprout. Amazing. It's starting to sprout. All right, let me get over my attitude. Okay, got the flour in the dish here. Now also I got my Tommy Spice, which consists of coarse salt, coarse pepper, garlic, granulated garlic, and granulated onion. Equal parts, and this little jar right here is a tablespoon of each. So I'm going to do is I'm going to season up the dredge here for the flour. All right. Now I do it a couple different ways, but coming from the restaurant business, we would actually do the chicken Cook it up first, put it off on a plate, all right? And then make the sauce and then put everything together. I never put the chicken into the sauce and finish it. I always put it on the plate, finish it with the sauce on the bottom, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, we got that there. Next I'm gonna crack 2 eggs. And here. 2. And I got my fork here, and I'm just going to scramble these up like normal. I'm also going to add some of my Tommy Spice to this, but I'm going to also show you something else that I do. Let me get these incorporated. Now, a lot of people, old school people, they put milk in here and stuff. You can never let them do anything, but you can do what you want. Okay. And let that sit like that for a minute. Okay, a little parsley to it. Put a little parsley into my flour. Put that up to the side. And I have Parmesan cheese. I like to add it, not a lot. Okay, just enough to add the flavor to it. You can also add a little bit into your flour. Really doesn't make a difference. And we'll save that later for pasta. Let me mix this in together here. Okay, the dough fluffed up pretty good. What I'm going to do is, you know what, that's pretty good. Just hold on a minute. Now, clean the board off because we had the egg on there. Marie cleans it up pretty good. In fact, she pushes me out of the way. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take the dough out. I'm going to put it here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and cut it down the middle. Alright. Now, this half I'm going to re-ball. Okay. Put everything in together here. That's going to go back in to the refrigerator. Covered into the refrigerator. Now this piece right here, and take it, push it out a little bit. Fold it into itself. Take it one more time. Okay, nice little baguette we're going to make. I'm going to take it and just slice across the top, a couple slices in it. Let me get my little brush. Now I'm going to take this egg wash that we're going to use for the chicken, and I'm just going to brush this on top. Give a nice little color to it. You don't have to worry about breaking another egg. Alright, now just to that bread a little bit. I like it a little salty, like almost like an everything bagel. I'm going to put a little Tommy Spice on it. Alright, I'm going to put that 400 degrees. I'm going to have nice bread for our nice sauce that I'm going to be making next. Okay, we got a little rolling boil going here. I'm going to drop in the thin spaghetti. You just twirl it around like that. Let me get my... Now you just want to let this bend itself. Don't break it. Don't ever break it. Well, you have the Italian police after you. Alright, just let this go. It's going to fall back into the pot. Alright. So I'm going to put a little olive oil. I always use olive oil and butter because if you use just olive oil or just butter, the butter burns. So this sort of complement one another, get through your cooking a little bit easier. There's probably about 2 tablespoons, maybe 3, which is probably 2 of the butter in there. Now I'm going to let that move around. Okay, now into the pan I'm going to put a little bit of garlic. Let that go right there. Now into the flour, I'm going to take that piece right there, and that's going to go into the chicken. That's a pretty good sized piece. Normally I would cut them down, okay, but you know what? I want some good coverage on it and a nice big piece. We can cut it up later. Now here's where I go different than everybody else. I put it back into the flour again. Now that piece goes in. Oops. Okay, 3 pieces are in. Getting ready to turn. Got a nice garlic baked in on there. Just gonna let them go. I'm gonna brand these up nice. Wipe up some of my mess here. Oop, hit the camera. Do you ever have one of them days? Let's check the pasta. Get messaged. Still a little al dente, and let that go a little bit more. Now, okay. Okay, time for the great flip. Okay, it's starting to come together pretty good now. Get a nice color on it. Now the whole idea with this is to, you put that coating on the chicken, okay, and keep it so it's not soggy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of chicken broth, a little bit at a time. Put that back over here. A bit more butter. I tell you, I bought this butter in a big tin, and it was whipped, and I tell you what, it's very difficult to work with. Now, what we have here is we buy lemons, a lot of lemons, and we take them and we freeze them. So this is the pulp and the lemon juice. It works just as well. And put a little bit in here. All right. Now pasta's done. Okay, that chicken is good. I'm going to take these and put these off to the side. Now we're going to make the sauce. Now, being that I don't use a lot of oil with this, as you've seen, you see the butter, it's still melting down. So we're going to take this piece off out of here. Now I'm going to add to it a little bit more garlic. All right. Add some white wine. This is a Chardonnay. Now I'm going to let that cook. Now, as that cooks, I'm going to be throwing in some lemons. Ah, the aromas already are unbelievable. Okay. So now I'm going to add a little bit more chicken stock. That's it. Now we're going to start building this sauce here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the poire Meunier that I made. Now this is raw, so you need to let this cook in here a little bit. You only need a little bit, okay? I've watched other channels who put the whole, whatever roux they make, put the whole thing in there, and you know what? Too thick. It gets very, very thick. Parsley. Next is going to go in. More lemon juice. Let that cook down. A little bit more of the thickening. Now that's thickening up really nice. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my pasta. Get it all out. No stragglers. Okay, I'm going to cook that cook in here really nice. And I'm going to need a little bit more parsley, and I could use some cheese, I think. Now this is fresh ground parsley that we make. I buy it from the store, dry it, and put it in here. Okay. A nice Romano, freshly grated. Put this in and on here. Okay, we're ready to plate. Okay, it is time. Chicken right here. Okay, there we have it. Chicken franchise, Tommy way. Little unorthodox way I like to do it. I like the crunch on the outside of the batter. Okay, the little cheese into it, the lemon, white wine. Here we go. Wow. You're not swimming in sauce, you got just enough sauce. Chicken is beautiful, tender. Now, this joke is too hard to handle right now. But he's done. Well, I'll salute everybody. See you next Sunday for the Sunday Dinner Chef. Thank you.